Apollo's Fire Discovery Series.
Welcome back to I Love Music. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Amanda. We're your hosts for the Discovery Series.
Last episode, we met 4 amazing Baroque composers and listened to different styles of Baroque music, including folk and palace music.
Today, we will meet some musicians who play instruments in Apollo's Fire. Do you know what a musician's job is in an orchestra? Let's ask our student friends, August and Philip.
Musicians are the people who play instruments together to make up an orchestra, right? So their job is to play the instruments.
Yes, that's right. And the number of musicians in an orchestra can vary from 12 to 100 people.
100 musicians?
Whoa!
That's a lot of instruments. What kinds of instruments do they play?
There are lots of instruments and different groups of instruments. These groups are sometimes called families because the instruments in the family are related and similar, just like your family. The 4 groups of instruments are string family, woodwind, brass, and percussion family.
Apollo's Fire musicians play very special instruments from the Baroque period. They look and sound different from the instruments you would see in a regular orchestra today. Apollo's Fire musicians use these special old Baroque instruments to help the music come alive like it would 400 years ago. Now that we watched the Baroque orchestra play, we want to hear what you discovered. August, what did you see?
I saw musicians playing instruments while standing and some were sitting.
Philip, what did you hear?
I heard the drums kept the beat throughout the song, and I heard people using their voices to sing with the instruments.
Cool, Philip. Oh, and don't worry, we will cover the people singing in our next episode. Are you ready to meet some musicians of Apollo's Fire Orchestra and their instruments?
Yeah! I'm so excited!
First, we are going to meet the string instruments: violin, cello, viola, bass, viola da gamba, harpsichord, lute, and the theorbo.
What's the difference between a viola and a viola da gamba?
Well, Philip, a viola is played under the chin, and a viola da gamba is held between the legs. The word gamba is an Italian word meaning legs. So it's a viola for the legs.
I remember that Jeanette plays the harpsichord.
Yep, she does. Let's have a quick listen to remember how the harpsichord sounds.
She must practice a lot to sound that good.
Yeah. Hey, aren't harpsichords like pianos?
Yes, they're very similar. That's because the harpsichord is the ancestor of the piano.
So let's get started by meeting the string family.
Here to show us how a string instrument works is Alan from Apollo's Fire. Hi, Alan.
Hi students, my name is Alan and I play violin with Apollo's Fire. And this is an instrument that I've been playing since I was 6 years old and I've been loving it ever since. So, this is my violin, this is my bow. Why is it called the bow? Because it kind of looks like a old-fashioned bow and arrow. And that's where it gets its name. And the violin is a bowed string instrument. And what that means is that to make a sound, all I have to do is to use the bow and pull it across the string like this. Hope you enjoyed learning about my violin. Bye!
Here's Alan in action, playing Vivaldi Summer Concerto.
Thanks, Alan, for showing us how the bowed strings work. And now, Philip, who is our next Apollo's Fire musician?
Our next guest is Brian. He plays the plucked string instruments. Welcome, Brian.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian, and I play many different instruments. All of these instruments, like the violin, have strings, but instead of playing them with a bow, like Alan, I pluck them with my fingers, like this. This one is called a lute, and this kind of lute was around in the year 1500. About 100 years later, it had more than twice as many strings. This member of the lute family is called a theorbo. It has 14 strings, and it's very large. Some of these lower strings sound like this. And this one might look very familiar to you. What does it look like? It's a Baroque guitar. The Baroque guitar was the most common household instrument in the 17th century. It has 5 pairs of strings, whereas the modern guitar has 6 strings total. And this instrument can be strummed or plucked, and it sounds like this. Thank you for visiting.
Thanks, Brian, for playing for us. August and Philip, what do you think about these plucked instruments?
The lute looks similar to a guitar.
Yes, that's because lutes are an ancestor of the guitar, just like harpsichords are the ancestor of the piano.
The theorbo looks like a giraffe.
Oh my goodness, August, you're right. It does.
Now let's meet some of the brass family. Horns, trumpets, trombones, and tuba. The brass instruments in Baroque times were very difficult to play, and the musicians had to use only their lip pressure to change the notes. Nowadays, brass instruments have valves, which make it easier to change the notes, but a Baroque trumpet has no valves. Let's have a listen.
Next, we'll learn about the woodwind instrument family, the Baroque flute, oboe, clarinet, and bassoon. During the Baroque period, these instruments used to be made of wood. Nowadays, some of these instruments are made of metal, but they are still a part of the woodwind family.
Let's meet Sarah. She plays the flute with Apollo's Fire.
Hi, music students! My name is Sarah and I play the Baroque flute. I started taking music lessons when I was 4 years old, and I started flute lessons when I was 12. The flute is part of the woodwind family, and in the Baroque era, they made flutes out of wood. whereas most flutes that you will see today are made out of silver. And silver flutes are bright and loud, whereas the Baroque flute has a nice, mellow, quiet tone.
What a cute and fun instrument to play. Thanks, Sarah.
And last but not least, the percussion family. These instruments make sounds and rhythms when you shake, tap, bang, or beat them by using your hands or sticks. Here are some instruments in the percussion family: timpani, tambourine, and doumbek.
The percussion family has lots of different instruments in it, and they all look and sound so different.
Yeah, August. There are so many different instruments to choose from. Now let's listen to Apollo's Fire musicians play their instruments all together.
During this video, we want you to discover what instruments you see and hear. If you're watching from home, you can check out our scavenger hunt activity.
Let's play a game and see if we can put a few of the instruments in their correct family.
Look and listen to our first instrument. What instrument family does it belong to?
Well, this instrument has strings, and it looks like what Alan was playing with the bow. It must be in the string family.
You got it! That instrument is called a viola da gamba, and it's in the string family.
Let's listen and look at our next instrument.
It's quite long and made of metal. I think it is in the brass family.
That's right. This instrument is called a sackbut and is in the brass family. Nowadays, this instrument is called a trombone, but in the Baroque period, it was called a sackbut.
Sackbut? What a funny name!
Now try and guess this one.
Oh, I remember this instrument. It reminds me of a giraffe. This is a plucked string instrument.
That's correct. This is a theorbo that Brian plays, and it's in the string family. All right, next instrument. Here we go.
I know this one. It's in the percussion family.
Spot on, Philip. That is the doumbek, and it is in the percussion family. Okay, last instrument.
like what Sarah played earlier. It's a flute, which is in the woodwind family.
That's right! Nice work, August and Philip. You are becoming Baroque instrument experts. Now it's time to wrap up our episode.
Thank you to all our Apollo's Fire musicians who joined us today.
And a big thank you to Philip and August for helping us learn about all the different types of instruments and their families.
I had so much fun today. Bye!
Me too. See you next time.
I love music and I love learning. Bye, everybody.
Bye.